This movie takes phrases like out with the old, in with the new, and new year, new me extremely literally. Talking about the new film, The Substance, starring Margaret Qualley, Demi Moore, and Dennis Quaid. Written and directed by Coralie Fargeat. But before we get into the review, you know what to do. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I drop the next reviews. Also, I want to ask that you excuse this stuffy sound. I actually have a cold I've had for the past couple of days, and I'm trying to get over it. But anyway, so this film is about Demi Moore. Her character is a celebrity, and she's getting a little bit older, and she ends up going through a situation that causes her to question her self-worth, question her appearance and things like that. So she turns to this black market drug that promises that it will basically give her a younger, better, more perfect version of herself. As you can imagine, that's something that has terrible effects, and that's basically the plot of the film. This film is in the body horror subgenre of horror films. I love it. I don't have any negative marks except for the small things. You know, sometimes I think writers, they create certain scenarios that really don't make sense. Like the more you look at them, they really don't make sense. And as to not give anything away in the film, I'll give you a made up example that's actually, I'll say, kind of similar. If you write a film and you have a 75-year-old man, right? There's nobody in the film that's 75, just to kind of double down on the fact that I'm not giving any spoilers. I'm making this up just to prove a point. So you had a 75-year-old man. You show us a scene where, let's say, he's having trouble getting out of bed, right? You show us several scenes that prove that this old man is frail and barely has any strength, right? And then 3 hours later, you show us that same old man busting a full sprint down the street. Anybody watching that movie is going to have questions like, a second ago, he could barely get out of bed, but he can sprint. Things like that. I don't think people think about that kind of stuff sometimes when they write films. So there's a handful of things like that happen in the film. Other than that, though, I don't have any complaints. It's called body horror, but body horror films are not usually scary. They're horrifying in the sense of disgust. They're written that way on purpose, and this film, it lives up to that. A heads up that definitely needs to be noted: this film is extremely gory and bloody, and there is a lot of nudity in this film. I had read a couple of early reviews that said that it was extremely bloody, but after watching the preview a couple of times, or the trailer rather a couple of times, and kind of seeing some images, I didn't expect the amount of blood that there actually would be, and the amount of just grotesque images that there would be. Never would have expected it. So if you like that kind of thing, if you love bloody, gory types of movies, if you enjoy movies like Saw and things like that, you're going to feel right at home with this one. As far as performances go, Margaret Qualley and Demi Moore both delivered explosive performances. I, at this point in my career, have done about 7 feature films. So I've been able to see up front what actors and actresses go through for certain scenes. I can only imagine that they went through some really tough moments. I mean, the way that this comes across on screen, I can only imagine how they felt actually filming a lot of these scenes with so many eyes on them, right? Other actors that may have been standing by, all of the crew members, directors just intently staring to make sure every frame is correct. I can only imagine what they dealt with while filming this movie. So I definitely want to give props to Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley for the strength of them to film these scenes. I mean, when you see, these are some really personal and intimate scenes. I know that these had to be difficult to do. So definitely props to them for how well they did this, how poised they were. They're both legends. They're legends. Even Dennis Quaid, whose character is named Harvey, by the way, we know that was done on purpose. But yeah, so Dennis Quaid's character Harvey, he wasn't as touchy-feely as you might would have expected him to be, being named Harvey, and of course who he's named after. But he was very creepy, creepy in the free candy van kind of way, right? So you pretty much know what I mean. But he played the role well. The sound design in this film is also amazing. There are some really gut-wrenching scenes, and the way that the sound design is done, it really makes you feel that on another level. It makes you tense up and just squeeze the arms of your chair when certain things are happening, because the sound, it feels like it's just right there. So that was another thing that I enjoyed, because it really immersed you into what was happening in a lot of the scenes. This review is actually going to be pretty short, because the movie is so straightforward that I really can't get into anything about it without really giving away spoilers. I mean, almost everything that happens in the film, it's very specific. Almost anything that I say will be a spoiler. But I do want to mention, just as a note, the overall message of the film, how I perceived it, which is, do your best to be happy with who you are and what you have. Society has us in a place where they're trying to tell us what's beautiful. They're trying to tell us who's attractive and who's not. They're trying to tell us that once you get to a certain age, your worth just falls off. That's nonsense, right? This entire movie is really based on that premise. That's exactly what Demi Moore's character is going through. She's gotten to a specific age, and some events have happened at that age where now she's questioning everything about herself, everything that she was in the past. And as many people are doing today, they want to go back to those glory days, right? And some people who have yet to reach that point are doing things to try to get to that point. And nobody is just being happy with who they are and what they have, right? And so this is what has driven Demi Moore's character to try this black market drug that has had the effects that it had, right? I mean, most of us today, we know somebody who has tried something or done something and tried to take the cheap way out of certain surgeries, and maybe not the best results happened. And I feel like the point of this movie, aside from entertainment, is to say, be happy with who you are and what you have, if you can, right? We don't know everybody's situation. We don't know everybody's mindset. We don't know what different people are going through. Some people feel like they have to do what they have to do, and then there's no way around it. But again, if you watch this film, it will, excuse me for sniffing, it will give you a different perspective on that, especially if you're someone who's considering that kind of thing. It'll give you a different perspective on that. With that being said, that does it for this review. Definitely be sure to hop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this film. What I think about it, it's a 10. I have no complaints other than what I mentioned before. Definitely recommend the film. But hop down in those comments, let me know what you think about it. Have you seen it? Do you intend to see it? Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I drop the next reviews. See y'all next time.